Namaste and welcome. I am talking to you from the city, the beautiful city of 9 gates. I'm making reference to the Holy Bhagavad Gita, which says that we all live in a city which has 9 gates. 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth, 1 anus, and 1 urethra. In another great tantric work called the Tripura Rahasya, it mentions that we live in a city of 10 gates, and the 10th one is the 7th chakra, the fontanelle. And this is the universal description of the human condition. We live in a form, we live in a house which has different gates or openings, you could say, which give us no end of trouble and illusion and delusion and misery, because we think that what we perceive through these different gates is the truth. And here's the surprise, it is not. It is what we believe to be the truth. For instance, they are the famous 12 cranial nerves. Out of 12 cranial nerves, 11 control everything that has to do from the neck up to the top of the head. And the 12 is the largest, it's called the vagus nerve. That's the one that connects with the digestive system and the internal organs. Now, in yoga, we recognize that this is the engine of delusion. They are extremely powerful nerves, and they control absolutely everything that we think, we perceive, and what we base our decisions on. Unfortunately, these decisions are very badly informed. And what Kriya Yoga does, Kriya Yoga is known as the mother of all yogas. It's the most ancient form of meditation that comes out of the Himalayas originally, from time immemorial. But what Kriya Yoga does, it takes a very scientific, spiritual approach to resolving this problem of living with senses that are not functioning well, and with a mind that becomes wrongly identified with its perceptions. So there are 2 ways to correct this problem of incorrect perception of the world, and therefore of its problems, and therefore of its solutions. One is to remember constantly, and that is a practice, that there is something within me that is seeing, not I, not the limited little self, but there is a presence. There is what we call a sakshi bhava, a witnessing consciousness that is operating silently, invisibly, and that is giving us the power to see, to feel, to think, to talk, to act, to learn from our different human experiences. That is one practice. It takes a very high level of consciousness to be able to constantly remind ourselves of this and realize it. A second technique is a sadhana, a spiritual practice, to constantly purify the different systems, the different structures of the egoic mind, which makes us confuse the reflection from the truth, for instance. And that is where Kriya Yoga comes in. Kriya Yoga actually combines both. Ability to constantly reflect on who is the doer, who is the real doer behind every action, thought, impression, sensory activity, and how to constantly purify my inner instruments so that I gradually perceive a clearer and clearer picture. And it is possible. And I'll tell you, in my own experience, when I started practicing more than 30 years ago, I was very miserable. I was chronically depressed. I was atheist. I was anarchist. I was extremely angry, rebellious. But I went to a conference that said that Kriya Yoga can purify all your different systems and give you access to a normal level of serotonin. So that got my attention, because a chronically depressed person, that is exactly the neurotransmitter that is not functioning. So only for that reason, not for finding God or anything, I decided to start practicing Kriya Yoga. And boy, did I get my serotonin back. That depression has gone more than 35 years. It has not returned completely. But there were some other things. I also started to experience something I'd never experienced before, which is joy, which is an incredible sense of belonging to an intelligent, loving universe and being part of it, and having a responsibility to collaborate with this beautiful universal life force, which gradually I came to know as God. But in those days, being atheist, I didn't have a vocabulary for it. It doesn't matter. I call it prana. Okay, it's the same thing, Mahaprana. So through the practice of Kriya Yoga, I was able to gradually cure a very profound lack of connection, okay, with myself, with my family, with society, with the world. And that's when I started to realize that Kriya Yoga is actually much more than a practice where you breathe and you do some postures and you learn how to concentrate the mind. It is really a spiritual science, okay? It is a science in the sense that it is a systematic methodology to help you investigate the nature of reality, which should be, I'm saying should, maybe it's not today, not so much, but it should be exactly the definition of modern science today. And now the challenge that I'm offering you is do it every day. Build your peace every day and maintain it. And that is the purpose of this beautiful incarnation that we have received. And then you will learn to live happily and freely in your city of 9 gates or 10 gates. Thank you very much.